spoilers and offensive content to come.
Yeah. We are Carl's Name Anime Rave. We're the best anime reaction on the internet. We saw up to and including episode 12.5 of Katana Maidens. So this is our mid-season impressions and thoughts and impressionable thoughts. So, Dave, start us off.
I gotta say, I've really enjoyed the last 12 and a half episodes of the show. Now, we should mention that 12.5 was literally a narrated summary of the first 12 episodes, and other than a single line at the very end that told us about the light shooting into the sky, and the 5-second preview for episode 13, 12.5 was really the epitome of useless half-season episodes. I mean, if you're gonna make an episode summarizing what we just watched over the past 3 months, at least add something to it and give it its own identity, much like Blood Blockade did with its summary episode leading into the next last 3 episodes they did. It was still a summary of the first half of the season, or more in that case, the first 9 episodes, but it also gave you more information and expanded the universe, not just told you what you just watched.
If Katana Maidens was a Netflix show, like a Netflix exclusive, we would never have had an episode 12.5.
No, we would not have.
And I think that's kind of the issue, this archaic distribution method that we are very slowly moving away from. Even anime is moving away from it to some degree, but not fast enough, in my opinion. And then we get this stupid recap shit because people think they have to do this, and maybe they're not even wrong about that.
Well, what bugs me about it is they tell you that the series is going to be 25 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you waste an entire episode on this. You still had to do production on adding a narrator, choosing your bits of episodes. You'd think it would be a quick process just to throw that together as we're getting ready for the 13th episode to give them an extra week. I'd literally prefer the studio just say, okay, we're doing 24. We'll take 2 extra weeks in between the first half and the second half to get ready, so we're not saddled with this bullshit.
Even if this thing is airing on TV, there's an argument to make that if your episodes are compelling enough, you don't need a recap episode because people can jump in any time and be like, whoa, what's this show? And kind of get drawn in. And Katana Maidens, Toji no Miko, whatever you'd like to call it, certainly has that quality. I don't think this is a stellar show by any means. I think this is a serviceable, fun, turn your brain off and enjoy the story kind of story. There's nothing terribly interpretive or meaningful here. This is good enough escapism for me. There's nothing about the story that's really standout, but there's nothing bad either.
It's fun.
It's fun. I like the characters. The plot is kind of silly, but it's not really obtrusive or offensive in any way. So, I mean, I enjoy it. I'm kind of curious what they're going to do for the second part of the season, considering this arc with
Yukari
Origami and Princess Tugutsu, or whatever the fuck she was called, is done pretty much, right? So,
well, and it may not be because, I mean, she may still be part of. Well, then you know that would totally get rid of the whole point of sealing her into the netherworld, but I guess we'll find out if there's still parts of her out there, or whether these actually are all separate Aradama now. The 5-second preview we got from episode 12.5 basically tells us in the second part of the season that we're 4 months later, and they're dealing with all of the Aradama attacks that are now happening because all of those pieces that were part of her are now out there.
See, that is by far the most intriguing thing about this plot, is that the revelation, although one could probably assume it, that the Aradama are not an entirely malevolent force, And you even get Princess, whatever the fuck her name was, talking about how, she became a god of evil. She didn't start there, but certainly became that way because of humans and their fear. So there's kind of a,
cause and effect.
No, that's not what I was going to say. But thank you. There's kind of a human versus nature plot underneath where the Aradama are a force of nature that have been trampled upon by humanity. And that leads to one issue that I have with the show, and that's that things kind of happen too fast and a lot of information is just kind of thrown at us. We're just going to drop that Yukari Origami has an Aradama inside her way back in episode 2, which I even mentioned in our anime rave of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of happened in all the episodes. Turns out that Ellen and the girl who's always with Ellen are part of a resistance. Hey, it turns out Ellen's grandfather's this American, and he has a sub. Hey, it turns out that all this thing happened in a flashback. Turns out Chidori is Kanami's mom. Turns out Chidori can just take
Pop
over
out.
Kanami's body whenever she feels like it.
What you're saying is that it didn't really flow naturally.
Yeah, it didn't. The flow and the pacing was really kind of weird. It was very kind of jumpy and fast, and I don't say I would have wanted more episodes to deal with this arc because I'm kind of glad this arc is done, but the pacing was really wacky in some cases. There was definitely the show feels like they're doing it week to week, and they're doing a really good job of it, but they're kind of making shit up as they go along a little bit.
It's actually the writers behind this are also the writers that worked on Can Kole.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It very much shows. This is almost, now that I've seen a second show done by them, this is their kind of style. They jump, they exposit a little bit, they jump, they exposit. In a lot of shows, I would say that makes it a lesser work, but these guys kind of are really good at doing this.
That's not a sustainable way to tell a story, though. It is okay to kind of tell a story in chunks, not know what you're going to do next season or whatever, next arc. That's fine, because each arc can still be its own self-contained whole, and you can add to your lore through time. You don't need to have everything planned out from the beginning. Although you can do that, and that is another style of writing fiction. The problem here is that it doesn't even feel like they had everything planned from the beginning. Maybe they did, but the way the story's told, the way things flow, it feels like they're making it up as they go. And they probably aren't, but it feels that way with the way they release information and exposit in a way that important information is released right when it's needed, instead of feeling like I should have seen this coming from episode 1.
And it's interesting because this is the first. They haven't done all that much. I believe Ken Kole was their last one they did, or even maybe the first one. But Ken Kole was 12 episodes, maybe 13. So it'll be interesting to see if they can pull off a continuation to a story like this and still have a second half that feels fun.
In a way, this is probably going to feel like a second season because this was its own whole, and now we're going to go to another self-contained whole. And maybe that one will just be a lot better and have nothing to do with this and introduce its own elements, and that's fine. That's really my biggest issue. Otherwise, this is a fine, fun show. There's nothing really to it, but there's nothing terribly offensive about it, and I like watching it. I don't know if I mentioned this in the anime rave. I don't think I did. I think we talked about it as we watched it. I thought these characters were way older than they actually are. And while this show doesn't exactly relish in fan service like other things, there is still quite a lot of, here's the thing. Mai's 13 years old. And Mai's camera angles and whatnot really accent Mai's proportions, let's say. Nowhere near as much as, say, what the fuck was her name from Gurren Lagann? Who the fuck was the girl from Gurren Lagann? I don't remember her name. Okay, there was Simone, there was... Oh my god, who was the other guy?
Started with a K.
There's Simon.
Wow.
Oh my god, what is his name? He died in episode 8. What was his name? We are not proceeding until we realize his name.
Not Keitaro.
Kanama.
Kanama.
Kanama? It's not
No.
Kanama. Kanama Kazuma? No, that was Scried. Fuck me! No, don't look it up. We need to do it without the internet.
He said, I'm not wasting a whole bunch of time on this. Main characters. Kamina.
Yeah.
And it was Yoko.
Yoko, lovely Yoko. So, yeah, Mai is nowhere near as presented, as flaunted as Yoko, nor are any of the characters here, but they look way older than they really are. Like, Konami and Mai are 13, and in a way, they
look 16, 17.
Yeah, they look like older teenagers. That's what I thought.
Also, the way they act is very much more mature than 13.
In fairness, they've been giving a fantastic duty, and teenage girls have a lot more maturity than a lot of dudes will give them credit for. But the point is, like, I don't know if that's a problematic thing. It's just kind of like, maybe this is just my inner pervert going, hey, they look, I can ogle them, right? Whoa, wait a minute. I kind of can't, or can I? It would have been wrong if they were 16 anyway. I'm not making myself look good here. But still, it's...
Well, okay, look.
I'm not docking marks for this or nothing.
The fact is, most animes specifically don't tell you age to avoid this sort of inner conflict. You had to look up what their age was.
Yeah, because I was curious.
And the show doesn't want you to know that or anything else. They're just... I thought high school teenagers at this level, so I was thinking 16, 17 myself.
It's just kind of funny because Sakura, in the Clear Card arc we're watching, is 14.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
And she looks like a baby compared to Kanami. Like, granted, different art styles, different studios.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of like, it was a little jarring.
Fair enough.
Then I'm reminded this is Studio Gokumi. Look at Yuki Yuna with, oh, fuck me. What the fuck is Yuna's friend's name? Togo. I was not forgetting Togo.
I was about to make fun of you.
It's Yoko, right? And I guess this is just Studio Gokumi's thing. They draw girls older than they look, but I was a little taken aback by that. But thankfully the show does not really delve in that much fan service. There's the occasional bath scene, and there was one time that Ellen kicked really high, but she's like 18 or something, so whatever.
We never got any panty flashes or stuff like that.
No, the camera very, very deliberately avoided that.
Yes, and I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, that's fine. The show did not need to revel in fan service.
Now, I mentioned for the Aradama there, I mentioned cause and effect. Now, Princess T, as I will call her.
Princess T!
She did mention there that something was ripped away from her. Now, we already know the Aradama are a byproduct of how they manufacture their toji, their weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think we're literally talking cause and effect, because whatever's being ripped away from the Aradama to do that becomes the sword, which kind of has almost like a symbiotic relationship with the toji, because the sword chooses the toji. So I'm thinking we're going to find out in season 2 that their swords and the fact they're making weapons to fight the Aradama are the actual reason for the Aradama.
Season 1.5.
Yeah, season 2, whatever.
Yeah, that might be it. I kind of, I swear to God, I'm not trying to do my usual Cadmus arc thing. But I mean...
We've already had Cadmus show up, though.
We sort of had Cadmus.
Yes, we did.
We haven't really had a foreign Cadmus yet. And I mean...
I think the last thing this show needs is...
The Americans.
The Americans popping up.
Or the Portuguese.
Look.
Intent to reclaim our sashimi that we taught them.
Oh, shut up.
We did.
We do not talk about Rurouni Kenshin Season 3.
The Portuguese really did teach
We
stuff
do.
like sashimi to Japan.
We do not speak of that season.
And certain linguistic elements like arigato is based on
Sure.
obrigado.
Absolutely. Great. Fantastic.
As a Portuguese person,
we do not speak of it.
I can talk about the links. I didn't bring up Kenshin, you did. I only brought up the historic links between Portugal and Japan.
Yeah.
Both on opposite sides of the great Eurasian continent, now that I think about it.
But yeah, no, I like the characters. I really wish that one school head got herself cut down by either, I forget the puppet's name.
I don't remember her name either, but I hate her hair. The hair that goes from white just to black at the ends looks so bad. Her hair looks like from a character design standpoint, she looks like shit. I look at her and I'm like, I have no sympathy for you at all, purely based on how you look. Like,
wow, you're awful.
That's pretty terrible. You may just up and died. Unless she's not, and that was a hint at that she's going to be revived by the Aradama within her.
Well, but that was the whole reason why the other guard stayed behind, was to get rid of the body, so that didn't happen.
Yeah, but we didn't see that body.
True, but something tells me she would have done her duty.
Kind of a shitty way to go. She didn't even get a fight against the strongest opponent she wanted.
Not a complete one, and it was kind of weird for them to show us her background. What led to that at such a late stage, right when she was dying.
Yeah, again, that's the show kind of being like, oh shit, we killed her. Better
why.
show why.
Yeah. I mean, from her symptoms there, I was saying leukemia based on a friend. But even that, they could have name-dropped what was wrong with her, not just...
There are any number of illnesses that have you coughing up blood.
I also would like her family to die.
Oh yeah, family abandoned her when she's sick? Fuck her. Leave her in the hospital.
Yeah, like there's a couple people in this show I wouldn't mind just seeing get capped, no problem. But none of the main characters, definitely. What would you do? Okay, obviously, we're going 4 months later. Obviously, they're back in good standings with the community.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your restriction/punishment for the guards that are still... Anybody who basically went along with this?
I'm imagining trial and imprisonment, really. Like they have to be investigated for their role, and perhaps given leniency if they come forward with information of their own accord. If they're cooperative, and if they cooperate and they make amends, I think you kind of have to forgive as much as you can. Maybe a lighter sentence, maybe some community service. But there has to be punishment, though.
I mean, the home guard there being infected with Aradama, I mean, that's already... you couldn't just lock them up.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Aradama powers would just kind of fuck things up.
Oh yeah, you'd need to have specialized prison cells for them, right? There must be something, although there won't be. If I'm going to predict what happens, no, they're going to be just fine.
Because, I mean, even just based on their conversations here in episode 12, or I guess it was more 11, actually, I don't see all that redeeming of qualities there when it's basically just like, I want to be on top, or, yeah, we need to have equal power to the enemy. Your mentality here does not show me much promise here, people. I mean, I have more sympathy for the girl who's being treated as a doll and seemed to have no emotions than the top two.
Sure. But I mean...
And then that head of the one school, yeah, locked up, job lost, fuck you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of too many characteritis going on in the show as well. They were all introduced early. There's no Tite Kubo problems of just introducing a character when you have no idea what to do
Yes.
next. But certainly there was a lot to get through and perhaps not enough time for that. I had this note when we saw an episode, but you know how I can tell that this was written by dudes? Because there's a scene where the girls are all like, man, I wish my boobs were bigger. That's how you can tell when an anime is written by dudes. Because I think I've compared it, and I think 99.982% of the time that there's a scene in an anime where someone's like, man, I wish my boobs were bigger, dude wrote it. Because that's what dudes who have no idea what women are like and who has not done any kind of asking women about this, which is the thing a male author can do, thinks women talk about. Man, I wish my boobs were bigger. And
that conversation can actually happen.
That's why I didn't say 100% of the time. However, it is much rarer when women are at the helm. It certainly can happen, and there are pervy shit that women can put into fiction. Certainly, I've read some, but I mean, you don't really get the whole, oh, what do girls do? They compare boob sizes, right? What else do girls do? Oh, they hint at Yuri's without actually having it, which the show does a lot as well. And I guess Ken Coley did the same thing. There was quite a bit of Yuri baiting in it, from what I heard.
Absolutely.
And I hate that, and that I do dock marks for because I'm so sick of it. I strongly doubt we'll see any official Yuri couples in this show, especially since, especially since you have guys writing it and they made the stupid boob thing. That's where I was leading with that. The same thing happened in Yuki Yuna. Even though it's pretty damn well near certain there's Yuri happening there. There was also in supplemental materials, and one time in an episode where boobs are a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can kind of tell. That said, other than those gripes, the show's fine. I just hope that... Oh, one more gripe. The dub started really good, and I definitely think the main characters, the main 6, great dub voices. The further away you get from those 6, the less good the dub became to me. Origami, she was fine when her voice actor thought she was just playing a villain. You get to the flashback, and she kind of crumbles a little bit.
I don't know if I actually agree with you on that.
You get to the satellite characters, the auxiliary, they're not going to be around forever characters. Their voices are just kind of meh. Yumi was a mixed bag. She was great when she was sad and less good when she was intense, ironically enough. A lot of the Elite Guard were just whatever. Although the one emotionless girl, you could make the argument that she's emotionless, so that's how she's supposed to sound. She's fine. I just thought that listening to the dub, I'm like, yeah, the further away we get from the main 6, who are, in fairness, the core of the show, the less good things get. That doesn't make the dub bad. I just think that the quality is not as high and as consistent as I may have thought at the beginning.
Don't necessarily agree, but whatever.
I have no desire to watch this in Japanese because of that. I'm just fine watching the show in English. Just an observation. Otherwise, yeah. Any more thoughts on Toji no Miko / Katana Maidens / Toji no Katana Miko Maidens?
No, we'll see if they can pull off a strong second half of the season.
Yeah, I suspect I'm going to... If I were to hazard a guess, if I were to just predict what I'm going to be saying at the end, it'll probably be, yeah, this was fun. These are my exact same issues. Folks, strap on your Katana Maiden armor, load yourself into a missile, and launch yourself directly at AnimeRave.xyz, home of Carl's Dave Anime Rave, the best anime review and action show on the internet. You can watch us watch things. You can watch us do Let's Plays and stuff, and mid-season impressions, and full-season impressions, and reviews and reactions, and other good things. We have 3 different YouTube channels we put our stuff on. Links are in the video description, or you can just go to AnimeRave.xyz and everything gets amalgamated and congregated there, including stuff like if a video gets taken down for a copyright strike, you should see a copy there. Or if you want to visit our Patreon, you can find the link at AnimeRave.xyz. These are tough times. Just spread the word if you can't afford it, but if you can, send us a few bucks. Keep us going. Yeah.
Tune in next time.